Hello everyone and welcome to GG Files. I am Toad Knight and today I'm going to be reviewing Fae Farm. Now this review took me a little while to get out as I got Fae Farm around September 10th, but for good reason. I felt like Fae Farm was the perfect game to test out the new device I got, my Steam Deck. And I was right. I've been playing Fae Farm about an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes every night since I got it before bed. So this is going to be more of a Steam Deck review of Fae Farm. Now I want to start my reviews with a pros and cons list. I feel like everyone hates sitting through a long intro. They just want to get to the good stuff. And the pros and cons list is normally what everyone's looking for. So let's start out with it. I'll put it on the screen right now while I'm talking about it, but let's go through the pros first. The first pro of this game is it runs amazing, and the quality is fantastic. Now, I was playing my Steam Deck and my PC, and it ran exactly the same on both. My Steam Deck did great running it. I never had any problems. It was extremely smooth. I was able to play it every night and just kind of throw my Steam Deck around and toss and turn in my bed while I played it. On my PC, of course, it ran it great. I have a pretty nice PC, but everything ran perfectly and the game came in fantastic. The next pro that immediately stuck out to me in the game was the streamlining of tedious tasks. Now, it's very small, but they had a ton of this. For example, you don't ever need to switch farming tools. It just does it for you. If you look at a rock, have your farming tool activated on your HUD, then it'll just switch to your pickaxe. If you look at a tree, it'll switch to your axe. Automatically, you just have to look at it and press A. And this goes for everything that the tools are needed for: watering plants, picking grass, chopping trees, hitting rocks. It was very streamlined in that regard. And they also had a lot of smaller streamlined things that just felt really, really good. Like time stops when you pause. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to pause. I had to feed my dog. I had to pause. And it just, the day stopped and I didn't have to worry about the time in the day running out and having to rush to finish my tasks before I did my own real life tasks. And there's also no penalty staying out late. There was, when you had food in your inventory and your stamina was low, it just prompted you to press right trigger on the Steam Deck. I'm sure, I don't know what the keyboard command was, but it just prompted you to press a button to eat food automatically from your inventory. You didn't have to open your inventory and go eat the food. They had a ton of things like that that just made the game feel very, very good to play. And it just streamlined all your farming tasks. They've obviously played a lot of farming games and they knew the annoying stuff that happens in farming games, that just lower button clicks. It's a game dev term. You always want to lower the button clicks that the player has to do to get to a certain thing to relieve tedium, and they did that to the T. A+ on that. I barely had to open my menu at all. I could just sit back on my bed with my dog and play until I got tired. Amazing job there. I really enjoyed that part of it. I gotta commend them for that. They did a really good job doing that. And the last pro on this is the game is very straightforward and very open-ended. This is supposed to be a 4-player game, and you can really tell because there is a massive map with a bunch of things to do, and it just feels like you and a bunch of friends could get in there and kind of do whatever you want. It's very open-ended that way. One person can go to the mines, the other person can go fishing, the other person can do something else, gardening, stuff like that. You can play it single player, but it feels like playing a multiplayer would feel very good because of how open-ended it is. You can really do whatever you want in the game. You could have one player go flirt with somebody. You could have one player, do all the different tasks you want to do in your farming simulator, which that felt very good for a multiplayer sense. Having it open-ended and straightforward like that, I felt like the multiplayer would be a lot more fun than the single player. You can still play it single player, but just having it more open-ended, having 4 people running around, it felt like the open-endedness of the game felt like it was made for the 4-player experience. Now let's move into the cons. And this is kind of a big one because I like this game. I had fun playing it. I'm going to keep on playing it to bed. Not as much because I was doing it to review it, but because I just enjoyed myself. It's very easy to just pick up and play whenever you want. It's the perfect Steam Deck game. I'm glad I played this on my Steam Deck over the PC because now we're going to get into the cons. Biggest con is very obvious. Way too overpriced. Like, it's just ridiculously overpriced, especially for a game that seems to be meant to be 4-player. I don't know why they made it $40. The reason why any games are normally priced higher is because they don't think they're going to make as many sales. If this was $15 or $20, I'd say yes, go get it. $40? No. No. Wait for a sale. Because it is a good game. It's everything I liked about it. Farming sim-wise, I feel like they did a great job streamlining everything. The devs obviously played different farming games. But yeah, it just wasn't worth $40. On that point again, there's just not enough content for the $40 to be justified. Coral Island is cheaper and it has more content, just story-wise and all-around gameplay-wise. And I played other farming sims. There's always a few farming sims that come out. Like Moonstone Island came out $20. I feel like that's a very good example of just a good price point for a solid game where they have a bunch of different mechanics. They have a full monster taming system and a bunch of other things. This one just didn't have enough content for the $49.99 price point. It also leads me to my other con is this game was meant to play multiplayer. I think they left out a lot of story and like events you normally see in farming sims, where there's like autumn events or other different events and events that just happen randomly throughout the year. Maybe I just missed them in my game, but I was running around through the town like every day, and there's no events when I was playing. And I went through a couple of seasons on my Steam Deck. I think I maybe missed like one event, but I didn't really see that many, especially early on. The first season there was almost none, which would be fine if you had 4 players, because it's kind of, I mean, everyone wants to go do their own thing. If you have less events, I feel like that's better, because you're going to be making your events with your friends and stuff. Everyone's going to be running around doing different stuff. But I feel like if you have 4 players, you're going to get through this game really quick. I got through the first dungeon in the first like 7 hours. So 4 players doing that, you'll breeze through this baby. Yeah, the lack of story and events in the game just really made it feel like it was supposed to be more open-ended for more people to play, which also hurts them because the price point was so high. It was $40, and it seemed like the expectation was to get more people to play. But if you want more people to play, you got to price the game lower, and then you make more sales that way. I don't know. I'm a little salty about the price point because I did enjoy myself, but I can't recommend it to anybody because of that price point. It's frustrating to me because I like the game. All right, next up, let's get into the art. The art in the game I thought was fantastic. I do a lot of 3D art myself, and I gotta say, the 3D art in this was very, very good. And what was so good about it is the hand-painted textures. Now, it looks like all these textures are hand-painted. I could be wrong. It could be just a really advanced shader that I don't know about that make them look hand-painted, but for my end, it looks very hand-painted. Artist obviously knows their way around a substance painter and substance designer, because everything looks very good in here. I gotta commend the artist for this one. I think the art in this game is incredible. They definitely have their own style. It's kind of like World of Warcraft style, but it doesn't. Maybe they use some orbs brushes on some of the 3D stuff. I really enjoyed it. I thought the art in this game was good. It's what first drew me into the game initially. I like the chibi art style of the characters, and their environments are just fantastic. I love the environmental artist in this was incredible. Now the chibi characters are pretty simple on the simple end. They do have the hand painted like hair and stuff, but the environments in this game, are amazing. And that's really what you want in a farming simulator, is your environments to be incredible. But wow, the environments and the props and everything in this modeled to perfection, and also textured to perfection. I love their texture artists they had on this one. Clearly they know what they're doing, and they did an amazing job. Let's talk about the gameplay a little. So the gameplay of this one isn't all that unique. It's basically the same old farming sim gameplay we've always seen. Later on, it gets a little more advanced with some like magic in some of your weapons you get, but still it's very simple and very streamlined. There's 2 sides to it. The gameplay was very basic, but also it was very streamlined. It was the basics done perfectly. And I think that's what shines about the gameplay here. It is the basics you get in Stardew Valley and all those done better. This is the best example of gameplay I've seen in a farming sim yet, because the gameplay was so streamlined. It's the best iteration of the basics I've ever seen, and I think that's where the gameplay really shines in this one. I know that's why I want to go back and keep playing it, because I can just boot up my Steam Deck and play very seamlessly. Like, I'm just right in the game. I don't have to open my inventory. There's barely any button presses. I can just go work on my farm, go to the dungeon, go do some quests. There's a giant newt that needs some stuff from me. I can just go around and kind of do my tasks and not have to take the extra time to do the little tedious things like open my menu or pick the right tool or put this thing in my hotbar or anything like that. It's all streamlined, and I could just sit back in my bed and play on my Steam Deck, and it's just a good time. I think the gameplay is what really drives this game home, not because it's advanced, not because it's unique, not because it adds something to it, because it does the basics perfectly. Let me talk about the longevity and replay value. Kind of a category I never really go over, but I think it's a good one for farming sims. I think this one does have a lot of longevity and replay value, because especially if you own a Steam Deck, I'm definitely going to be playing this one before I go to bed, because it's just easy to jump into and just keep playing. So I'm going to play it. I like to play it like an hour, 2 hours before bed, just to check it out, just to jump in, just to work on my farm a little bit, do some quests, and then jump back out and go to sleep. I think that's where really the longevity and replay value comes in of this game. And eventually I'm going to catch up to the content, and they're coming out with updates. And I feel like if I just play an hour or 2 hours every night before bed, I'll have a perfect time when I catch up to all the content, and then they release their updates or whatever they're going to do for the future of the game. Now, I don't know if there's going to be a future of the game. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the price point. So I don't know how many sales they made, but if they do an update, they'll probably do an update with a sale, and I think that's going to be the best time to pick up this game. Is their first big update. They'll probably put it on sale for hopefully 50% off. I think that's the perfect price point to buy it at for $19.99, and I think that's going to be the time to get it. I would say if you're looking at a farming simulator and you're looking at picking up Fae Farm, I would honestly say check out Coral Island first. I think it's on Game Pass, but if it's not, it is on Steam for $24.99. They just got their Merfolk update. I think this is a better game with more to do, better story, better characters, and half the price. Unfortunately, I can't recommend Fae Farm because of the price point, so I'd definitely check out Coral Island instead. I think it's a better farming sim overall, and I think it got kind of underlooked when it came out. I hope people are still playing it because their Merfolk update just rolled in. But if you're looking at a farming simulator, unfortunately, I cannot recommend Fae Farm because of the price point. I think if this one was $19.99, I could definitely recommend it. I'd definitely recommend it to 4 people. This is definitely a 4-player farming sim. If you're into farming sims and this goes on sale for $19.99, I say, yeah, you and your 4 friends pick it up. You'll have a great time. I think this is a perfect $19.99 game. But unfortunately, I cannot recommend it for $39.99. But once that sale hits, this will be a great one to pick up, especially if you're a farming sim junkie. Thank you guys for watching. This is my Steam Deck review of Fae Farm. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.